But it's the one that you come across that you feel hasn't been really truly tried, and perhaps was not just a deceit of some society, but the inspiration of something wonderful, something truly of help and blessing, something of sovereign kindness and goodness and creativity. And when you look at it more closely and don't just dismiss it with the religion that followed, I think you'll find the actual Jesus story has something of this. I find it in odd bits of it. And the more I find, the more I look, and the more I find more. And you may say, yes, but you're very narrowly focusing on John 17, Marshall. And that's true, because I'm conscious that the story, when you actually just look at the story instead of the religion that develops from it, its anchor is not what you thought. It's that he came, Jesus in the story, purely to tell us, if you like, simplistically, God's name. That it was not Sephiroth or even Sabaoth or Yahweh or Jehovah or any of those names, and certainly not God, as it became. In fact, not even Father, that was lost somewhere in the Trinity in preference for a state Jesus. A hidden sovereign who could only be approached by, in the end, intermediaries again. The saint, the priest, the mentor, pastor. Where was I? Essence of the story seems to be God's name. Get that right, you know the relationship. Loving God and we as children. This gives unlimited hope, assurance, peace of mind, newness of life, gratitude, overwhelming gratitude when you appreciate your existence in terms of his sovereignty of choice, of loving you, even when you were kids, just like a good parent, good mum or a good dad or auntie or whatever. Has meaning, life, loving kindness, not ruling obedience at all. Relationship. I've called you friends. For everything I've heard of my Father, I've told you. I've given you the freedom. I've opened the door, you see, that you might know him, and that this is life eternal, to know him. Not to obey, but simply to realize who he is. Not some fearful warlord thundering from the mountains that tells you to genocide some Canaanite occupation of land and steal it. Society's ever been stealing land, hasn't it? Was that before the advent of agriculture? I don't know. Or did it come with it? Agriculture meant you had to protect the future, or there was no point in the present work on the land. People would just steal the benefit. Like in Huntley West here in New Zealand. I said, why don't you've all got gardens. You were given quarter acres, even though you were renting off the state. Well, they weren't. They were renting off the private market, I think, largely. But yeah, the state had, basically organised it so that they were, because land was so freely available compared to the number of population, they had quarter acres in their gardens. No veg, no fruit trees. Well, the odd, surviving grapefruit tree perhaps, or lemon tree, not much more. Perhaps a fig tree, I don't know. Why aren't you growing veg? Well, it just gets stolen when you're out. There's no security. There's no point. Oh dear. Of course. This is the failure of the state, isn't it? If it doesn't protect property, then there's no work done. If there's no work done, there's nothing to cream off. We as an elite are impoverished. That's no good. We must bring law and order, and we must enshrine it in its cultural beliefs and stories. That's not the Jesus story at all. Oh, no. My kingdom's not of this world. Give unto Caesar what's Caesar's, but unto God what is God's. What's God's? His loving kindness and care, understanding, goodness, relationship, true life, eternal. Where does life eternal come from? Your parents. Physical. Physical life comes from parents. Life eternal comes from your eternal parent, God. A parallel we can follow. Something that's meaningful to the poor and the ignorant and the oppressed. I'm come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I rescue you from the burden the states put on you. I tell you that he that loveth much is forgiven much. Court of law can't do this. It says, this is the law. You've broken it. This is the cost, the penalty. I'm not a judge, I'm an administrator of laws that are imposed on not just you, but me too. As God is a quite different form of judge. A judge that has a loving, creative purpose for you. Not himself, he's already got everything. He wants it for you. And perhaps what he hasn't got, which is infinite communion with an infinitely wonderful family. And you're going to be it. This is what is purposed. For him, your life eternal is everything, because it affects his life eternal. He wants you in his family, and nothing's going to stop him. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. That's a different view of the Jesus story, isn't it? What happened to blame and judgment and sin and sacrifice and obedience and well, it's all put in the dustbin. That's where it was put. If you look at the Jesus story, I've given them your name. I've finished the work. thou gavest me to do. Nonsense, says the Christian. You've got to go to the cross. You've got to pay the penalty that God insists on. Yeah, well, that's because you've got a frightening God. I haven't. Well, why did you go to the cross then, in the story? Because it would attract your attention. It was a way of saying, I love you. And I mean, your parents did go without to love and care for you. They actually started to put baby first. They reorganised their life. You know, they mortgaged themselves up to the hilt to have a house for you to live in, a nice school, well, hopefully, you know, food on the table and rest and joy and peace and safety and comfort and love and cuddles and warmth and fun and joy, Christmas, birthdays. So we can understand God now in a wonderful way. That's what the Jesus story is to me. What's it to you when you read the story, having experienced the world? Don't you find his loveliness quite different to the world you've been coping with? Look at him praying for us, so to speak, in John 17. He's praying that you might have life, that the love of God be in you, that you be loved by God as he is loved in the story, that you may have peace and joy and freedom and be sanctified. That actually just meant protection, not suffering denial. That wasn't sanctification. Sanctification was protection from evil, even though you're in the world. Protected by the Holy Spirit guiding you and leading you, that speaks only of God, not of the world at all. Not of patriotism to protect the state, where you should give your life for it. Not that at all. Oh. Well, what then? Of trust in his loving kindness and care of you. We love him because he first loved us. Love. When does your politician campaign about love in your society? When does he really campaign about compassion and peace and joy and hope? Hope in a loving society, rather than some desperate clutching of straws that competition may in some sense benefit us all, despite the wealthy and powerful having an unbelievable concentration of the apparent benefits of life. But in some sense we should accept this as a necessary thing for us to have the scraps that are left, the byproducts that kill us, whether it be, sugar, fluoride, refined good foods with the goodness taken out, contaminated foods with the poisons put in, debt and overwork, or desolate unemployment, accelerated relocation to destroy relationships, multiculturalism where we won't be understood because of such a soup of values. We don't know how to anticipate safely how to be. So we turn in desperation to political correctness as some sort of inferior solution to we know not what. We've really lost. We've lost our stories, our legends, our wisdom, fables and myths. And Jesus says it all can be put right by simply re-anchoring to knowing God's name. That's what you need to know. This is life eternal, to know Thee, the only true God, our Heavenly Dad, that aspect of your God, one that loves and cares for you. And this transforms you into a loving and caring person, something that a secular world can't do. Because it's not aware of loving kindness, beauty. Look at its buildings, they're not beautiful. They're concrete and glass, plastic, and sort of polythene, really, plastic again, distilled from the rotting corpse of black crude oil. Tartaria, of course, the land of tar. Oh dear, overwhelmed by the blackness in the end, oozing up from the past. The mud floods swept everything before it. Not clean running water in a stream, but an eruption of decay, ocean of death. Don't meditate on that which is bad, Marshall. Whatsoever is good and lovely, think on these things. Ah, right. Come back to the name of God then. Dad. Love you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad. Read John 17. Thank you, Dad.